Hi, welcome. Today I'm going to talk about language stages and how they relate to AAC. Feel free to contact us at info@aaccommunicare.com or through our website if you have any questions, comments, or concerns regarding the presentation. So, in order to frame our thinking about language development for individuals using AAC, augmentative and alternative communication, we need to try and think about typical language development. In 1973, Roger Brown identified stages that really provided a framework from which we were able to predict the path of typical language development for individuals. And Brown's framework really focused in on morphology and syntax. And there are lots of other theories or different language development models, but for the purposes of what we're going to discuss today, as well as what's used in the field of AAC, we're going to really use Roger Brown's stages of language development as a guide. So if we think about morphology, it's really the structure and forms of words. A morpheme is the smallest unit of meaning, and so morphemes really can change meaning. So if we think about dance, well, its meanings really change when we add the past tense ed, danced, and changed even more if we turn the word dance into a dancer. And then this model also hones in on syntax, and syntax is really the rules governing word order and word combinations. And there's a lot more to it, but for the purposes of what we're going to learn today, that's really what we're honing in on. So going back to this morphology, thinking about how many morphemes are in the phrase, she is a good dancer. So we really have she, which is 1, is, which is 2, a, which is 3, good, 4, dancer, which is really 2. So right there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 morphemes in that. And so think about these sentences. He is running with the boys. How many there? And what about that was truly unbelievable? So feel free to pause and play around with those to get a sense of the number of morphemes included. But for the purposes of what we need to know about morphemes, morphemes really make up what is known as mean length of utterance, which is abbreviated to MLU. And this is really a number that is associated with the complexity of an individual's utterances, which therefore reflects on their level of advancement as well as their language stage and stage of development. So that's why morphemes are important. So MLU is calculated by writing down utterances and dividing by the number of morphemes included in that utterance. The higher the MLU, the higher the language proficiency. And there's some research to suggest that MLU is also a predictor of reading ability. But so basically, Brown came up with 5 stages of language development. At each stage, there was a different average MLU. So at stage 1, an MLU of 1.75 is really suggestive of, we're doing 1 to 2 word simple basic phrases. Whereas if you look at stage 5, an MLU of 4 is either indicative of the complexity, so having a word like unbelievable, or just in terms of the number of words included in that utterance, even if it's just 4 single morphemes words, still much more advanced. So delving deeper into stages 1 through 5, it's then kind of paying attention to what do those word combinations and morphemes look like. And so in stage 1, there are different sentence types, but they're very basic 1 to 2 word combinations, agent action, action plus object, go horse, or, I go, go there, possessor and possession, like my toys, things like that. Then if we do, looking at a stage 2, an MLU of 2.25, so quite a significant jump. And this is really where we see more refined use of morphemes. So progressive ing, the prepositions in and on, plural s. Stage 3, MLU of 2.75. We're now starting to see irregular past tense, drew versus wrote, possessive S, uncontractable copula, so she is happy, he is big, that kind of sophistication. At stage 4, we see an MLU, mean length of utterance of 3.5, inclusion of articles and the, regular past tense ed, present tense, third person regular. So again, just more and more complexity and refinement and sophistication. At stage 5, an MLU of 4, really all of the above plus third person irregular, uncontractable auxiliary, is he running, contractible, they're running, contractible copula, she's going, he's going, and those kind of things. So that, taking that real quick burst of the Roger Brown's language stages, they're really the leaders with respect to providing resources and information about this specific for the purposes of AAC is Pranky Ramic Company, and they have a language lab that is devoted to this with the URL displayed on your screen. And so they've compiled, Pranky Ramic Company has compiled different resources and information and evidence supporting language development and, around that, and detailed different stages of language development, but for an individual using AAC. And the way that this site in particular is compiled is that it really presents information for teachers, speech pathologists, parents. There are a number of free resources as well as different paid materials that you can have. And what it does is it details 6 stages of language development. And what we're going to see is that it's really not that different to what Roger Brown detailed in his 5 stages of language development. And yes, what is presented as part of the language lab takes that into consideration, but what's more powerful is to realize that although individuals present with complex communication needs, they also follow a similar trajectory to typical language developers. Obviously, there's potentially an absence of babbling and some of the really important verbal development that happens, but there's no reason why they can't progress when given the right tools through the same and similar stages of language development. And that's what we're going to see in this presentation. So according to the language lab, there are these 6 stages. So stage 1 is really one word at a time, thinking back to that MLU of 1.75. It's really, predominantly single words used to direct another's behavior, make requests, label items. So some different varied communicative intents and functions, but using really 1 to maybe 2 words at a time. Stage 2, starting to combine words to make more meaningful phrases. So 2 to 3 word combinations may be very simple, but at the same time more effective in terms of communicative intent and meaning. Stage 3, we see, more meaningful and refined word order, as well as the introduction of progressive ing and plural s. At stage 4, an individual is really learning grammar and sentence structure and using and developing different questions and negatives as well as irregular past tense. In stage 5, we see possessive S, third person present, regular past tense, so very, very similar to the language lab. In stage 6, we have basically correct grammar and word order and increasing complexity. And so really some sophisticated output using a speech generating device or AAC system. So let's delve deeper into each of these stages. So stage 1 is really for an emergent communicator, generally using 1 word at a time, and that 1 word could mean multiple different things. It could mean continuation or recurrence, naming, negation, all that stuff. So you may see words such as dad, go, more, come, like, yes. So just really some powerful single words. So goals for someone at the stage 1 is really to use single words to communicate, increase their vocabulary, direct another's behavior using these single words, making some requests, as well as expressing negatives. And again, these will vary depending on individuals, and sometimes we forego working on negatives, especially when we're trying to build a positive association with an AAC system, or if we're dealing with someone who has a history of using maladaptive behaviors to express negative connotations or negative meaning. So we may, adjust that. But again, this is just a general overview of what each of these stages may look like. So we have a little bit of an understanding of what stage 1 looks like. So now we're going to see it in action, focusing on saying go or more to request continuation during a book reading activity. So this is an example of what intervention may look like at stage 1. All right, are you ready to read our book? Let's make the book go.
Go.
Nice words. Brown bear, what do you see? Let's make it go.
Go.
All right, that book's gonna go. Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Should we make it go?
Go.
Nice words. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. I want it to go. Go, book, go.
Go.
Very nice words. So just, again, a really simple but effective way of supporting the communication at that individual's level, irrespective of what we're doing. So the book doesn't have to only have that word, but you can use the opportunity to focus on honing in on that, targeted communication for the recurrence in that kind of an activity. Okay, so stage 2. So now we're starting to work on combining words. So it's not just that single word. There will obviously be some 1-word, 2-word, but even 3-word phrases with really simple sentence structures, such as subject, verb, and object, subject and verb, with some examples there. No go, stop it, go more, want more, do that, need help. And you can see just in those examples that it really is about, communicating for a variety of different purposes. So our goals at this stage look like building 2 to 3 word phrases, increasing the individual's vocabulary and obviously their meaningful use of different phrases, and then using those 2 to 3 words to direct another's behavior, make requests, maybe express negatives, but again, the point being that not just for one function. It's not just an I want phrase. It's, stop that, do more. It's communicating for a whole host of purposes and reasons. So here we're going to see a similar example, again with a book reading, and now we can see how we can adapt that same exact activity for someone at stage 2. So we're going to be working on simple word combinations, and in this example, you go, to request continuation, that turn taking, and in general just to interact and request more reading. Okay, we're going to read a book. You tell me when you want me to read. You can use your words and you can say, you go.
You go.
You go. All right. Let's start our book. Brown bear, what do you see? Should we get more? Do you want me to go?
You go.
Okay, I'm going to read some more. Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Oh, tell me.
You go.
Nice words. red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Go ahead. Okay.
You go.
I'll go. I'm going to do some more book. Okay, so same exact kind of example, but we're just using now two words in the same context of the same activity. So language stage 3. So this is really where we see the introduction of morphemes. So we start using progressive ing, plural s. We also see some basic use of prepositions in and on, and most often using 2 to 3 word phrases. So we may see something like, daddy running, mommy dancing, want more on, put it on, my books, go in, no going. So any number of different combinations. So someone at a language stage level of 3 is really doing quite a bit of language work and some really refined and sophisticated device use at this stage. So our goals may be to combine different words to form simple sentences, obviously still working on increasing vocabulary, but now we're really looking at using plural nouns, directing another's behavior, using these same sentences to make requests as well as express negatives, working on the progressive ing, basic prepositions, and we may be starting to use some infinitives, to plus the verb, to go, to see, to eat. So let's see again the same kind of activity, but the point being to see how you can take the same activity and you can adapt it depending on the language stage of the individual. So we're going to hone in here on different simple sentences involving colors. Okay, we're going to read brown bear, and we're going to say what colors we see. So I'm going to start. Oh, I see.
I see brown.
I see brown. Are you ready? Let's read it. Brown bear, what do you see? Brown bear, what do you see? What do you see? What color is brown bear? Let's use all of our words.
I see brown.
Nice job, brown bear. Okay, let's do more. Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Oh, let's see. What color do you see? Use all your words. Let me see.
I see red.
Red, nice job. It's a red bird. Let's do more. Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Let's use all those words to say what we see.
I see yellow.
Nice work. Okay, so a little bit redundant, but that is so powerful when someone is learning an AAC system. That consistency empowers them to form motor memory and motor learning regarding different patterns and sequences. So it does seem really boring and redundant, but a really powerful technique for teaching new sequence steps, especially when you're focusing on core language and language development using AAC. Okay, so language stage 4. This is when we start to see WH questions. Also, irregular past tense starts to emerge, and the possessive S. So, what is it? He told Daddy, I saw it, Doggy's toy, Mommy's car. So that's really what we may be seeing at language stage 4. So our goals continue to increase in sophistication, so combining words to form simple sentences, obviously continuing to increase vocabulary, asking simple WH questions, and this is so powerful. Oftentimes our individuals are responders. Rarely do individuals using AAC get really supported in their ability to ask others and gain information from other people. Asking questions using pronoun verb phrases, interrogatives, can I, do you, will she. Use simple sentences to direct another's behavior, make requests, express negatives. So the same thing, using that kind of language level for a variety of communicative purposes. Irregular past tense, using adjectives, using is and are correctly. So really just better refined output. So let's see the same kind of activity, but now adapted for someone at stage 4. So now we're going to be focusing in on the past tense. I saw, involving color and animals, so really upping the ante in terms of the complexity of the work being done. Okay, let's read our book, and you tell me what color you saw on the page. I'm going to start. Oh, brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Look at that. What color did we see? Already happened. Yeah, I know, it already happened. I saw
brown.
Nice work. Oh, let's see on this page. What color have we just seen? Already happened.
I saw red.
Nice job using your past tense. Okay. So we saw that there with some past tense, same book, just upping the ante really in terms of that. And again, that repetitive practice to help build the individual success. Language stage 5. So the individual is now distinguishing between regular and irregular past tense verbs, using third person regular tense, as well as articles and the, so just fancier output really. That is a cat, she is going in, Daddy played the game, she threw it. So just sophisticated output. More sophisticated, I should say. So combining words to form simple sentences, continuing to increase the vocabulary, using those sentences for a variety of purposes, now honing in on was and were, using past tense appropriately, adding articles and the, third person singular s, possessive s to nouns, starting to use future tense. So again, just really increasing the sophistication of the individual's output and how they're using and generating different language-based words, phrases and sentences for a variety of purposes. So you guessed it, same kind of example, but now we're going to address future tense. What are we going to see? So, again, just looking at how it doesn't really matter what we're doing, it's just how we're shaping it and what we're asking of the individual. Okay, let's read our book, and I want you to tell me what color you think we're going to see and use all of your words. So let's start. I'll go first. Brown bear, what do you see? I see a red bird looking at me. Oh, so I think we are going to see, I think we're going to see red.
We are going to see red.
Let's check it out. Aha! Red bird, what do you see? I see a yellow duck looking at me. Okay, what do you think we're going to see?
We are going to see yellow.
You're right. Yellow duck, what do you see? Okay, so same example, just increased sophistication, working on that same kind of repetitive line to increase the individual's success. The last stage, stage 6. So the individual's using just about all different parts of speech, really consistently using correct word order, increasing the complexity of the utterances through use of conjunctions, and we start to see some reflexive pronouns and indefinite pronouns, so phrases such as, or a sentence that it broke because it fell, I hurt myself, everybody will go, so really that kind of level of output. The goals are to combine words to form complete sentences, increasing the vocabulary, using those sentences for a variety of purposes, but now really honing in on conjunctions and using reflexive and indefinite pronouns correctly and different kind of contractions. So here's our last example, same book, but now you can see that we're really honing in on using conjunctions. So again, it doesn't matter what the activity is, it's just how we shape it and frame it. Okay, we are going to work on our word and.
And.
Yep. So I'm going to start. Oh, I see a bear and he is brown. I see a bear and he is...
I see a bear and he is brown.
Your turn. Okay. I see a... Remember that and.
I see a bird and she is red.
Nice job adding that and. Even in that, we're also seeing some aided language stimulation, the verbalizing in addition to the generating on the AAC system. So again, just really powerful modeling of how to use AAC and multimodal communication effectively. Okay, so in summary, Language Stages by Brown really help give us an understanding of a predictable path of language development. And what we can see is that the language stages for an individual using AAC aren't that different, and that we can really, depending on the kind of device, address language development and growth through AAC use. And so their different intervention can focus on different elements depending on the level and the projected level that the individual will be. will be at. So 1 word to 2 to 3 word phrases. At stage 3, we're really honing in on those morphemes, progressive ing, plural s, basic prepositions. Irregular past tense is at stage 4 and those WH questions. Stage 5, we have possessive s, third person present, and articles. And then really at our final stage, the conjunctions, reflexive, and indefinite pronouns. And what's really important to note is that individuals using AAC and individuals with complex communication needs may have splintered skills. So they may present with some areas of strength in a higher language level, but maybe predominantly at more of a, language stage 2 or 3. And so this is, again, just to serve as a guide. And the main point is that individuals using AAC should be and can be really successful in terms of language acquisition and development. And so having an understanding of what that looks like allows us to really customize an intervention plan that hones in on this. And there's no reason why this can't be incorporated into an implementation plan, so that reading and writing goals are focused around supporting and enhancing different AAC use at relevant or target areas. So yes, individuals may vary, but they certainly should be pushed to advance their language, and it should be implemented across the board as best possible. So it's exciting, and there's a lot that we can do to ultimately help them be better communicators, understand language in better ways, and use language more expressively through use of AAC. So hope this snapshot of language development for individuals using AAC was helpful. If you have any questions, please use the contact information on the screen to reach out to us, and we'd happily be able to answer your questions or set up a time to discuss the content. Thanks.